Surprise! It's Two Chicks, One Book Plug Tuesday.
We're dropping in early to shine a little spotlight on a book you should absolutely know about.
Today we're giving some well-deserved love to an author who deserves a spot on your shelf.
You know the drill. Fangirling, chaos, and probably a fictional crush or two.
Let's get plot twisty! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist.
This episode is extra exciting because we're covering our book plug of the week. And today we're revisiting an author we actually got to chat with a few months back, Jenny Grimes. We sat down with her to talk about the first book in her fantasy series, Shaedes of Fire.
So if you missed that conversation, definitely go back and check out that episode.
But today we're going to be shining a light on the rest of the series. We'll give you a little taste of what to expect and why you might want to add it to your TBR.
And stick around until the end of this episode. Jenny actually sent us some voice notes answering a couple of questions we had about her series, which we cannot wait to share with you.
All right, let's get into it. The Soul Magic series by Jenny Grimes.
Jenny was seriously one of our favorite indie authors that we had on last season and season one. She just has this energy about her. Whenever you talk to her, she was so kind and just like the sweetest person. I loved talking to her.
No, she was so nice. And her talking about also taking on jobs like social media, because as an indie author, you're doing a lot more than a lot of traditionally published authors do. You're taking on all your marketing on top of, you just published this book, you got to organize your newsletter, all these things, unless you, of course, hire someone to do it. But if you don't, it's a lot. And I'm not the social media girly between the two of us. You are. It scares me. I get scared. So I'm like, props to you, Jenny girl. You get it.
Yes. And honestly, we had thought that she had some sort of team behind her social media.
Yeah.
So if you go check out her Instagram, it's author.jennygrimes. And she just makes these really cool graphics and she does all the things and it's so cool.
Yeah, no, she commissions art, and that art, oh my gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head who does it, but she tags them a lot of the time. Maybe it's multiple people, but I do think it's predominantly one person who does the art. But speaking of art, in her latest PR package for Shaedes of Fire, look, guys, okay, so this is
so cool.
A photo of a dragon with her. It's all red and spooky. And then like the series just gets like spicier. Okay, so the Shaedes of Fire is the second book in the series, and then my ring light has a glare, but saucy. And then she threw in bookmarks, and it's got like all the info, and then stickers.
We love stickers. We can never have enough stickers.
Yes, the artist, I can't remember you right now, but you did a great job. And then also we went into depth about the covers of her books, because at the time she only had released Shaedes of Fire, which is this one right here, guys. It's so pretty. So pretty.
It's so pretty.
She told us that she had an idea in mind. She communicated what she wanted to the cover designer, and that was it. That's all she needed. And she said it was so easy to work with her people, and there were no issues.
Yeah, she must have described it so well, because she said it only took once, and this person did it exactly like how she envisioned it.
So
That's crazy.
And then Shaedes of Fire,
so pretty.
It's fabulous. Gorgeous. I love it. But yeah, that cover alone, like anyone would just pick it up and buy it. Yeah.
Right.
What's it about? I don't know. It's pretty. Let me just buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then her Shaedes of Beast novels. Okay. That is the third book.
Coming out soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shaedes of Fire was book number 1. Shaedes of Fire just released this past June. And then Shaedes of Beast is coming in September. And then Shaedes of War. That one is to be announced. So go follow her on Instagram. She's very good at it. Okay.
She is just like publishing these books so fast. And if you go back to our... I know, right? If you go back to our other discussion, when we talked to her, at the time of filming, she had already written this third book because she got signed on like a year ago and she wrote it like 2 Januaries ago or something like that. And that's just crazy to think about. her publishers publishing all of her books like back to back to back. So it was like March, then June, and now September, which is crazy.
Oh, that's a lot of time to be patient too. Props to her, because how are you writing these books within like 3 months and then editing and everything? Yeah. So that's just how it feels. But she is amazing. And then a little bit about Jenny Grimes, guys, about the author. Jenny Grimes writes fantasy romance novels that focus on the blurred lines between worlds, the darkness you'll find in all of them, and the love that resides there too. She creates her characters and spins her stories from her home in the human realm, where she raises her 3 little book dragons with her husband and spends a healthy amount of time reading, traveling, and creating art.
Yes, and then some tropes that you'll find in her Soul Magic series. We've got romantasy, which we love. Spice, enemies to lovers, the why choose,
element.
Yeah.
Love it. The why choose element. Speaking of elements, they are all like elemental magic users, which is amazing, by the way.
But yeah, why choose element? We've got found magic, powers. We've also got fae, vampires, and dragons. So all of this just has everything that Michaela and I both love in any type of book. So the fact that she has fae, vampires, and dragons, it's like all of our favorite 3 put in one, which we love.
Wow, it's so awesome, guys. And then a little bit about Shades of Power, which is book 1 in a fae realm where color fuels magic. Opal is an outcast, tired, rejected, and ready to give up on court life. But everything changes when she witnesses a shadow beast attack a human in the mortal realm. Saving him unleashes secrets meant to stay buried.
Returning to the Shade Palace, Opal finds the court in chaos. Dark princes vying for war, dangerous magic resurfacing, and old wounds threatening to tear her world apart. As she fights to protect her realm, she's caught between the human she saved and a seductive dark prince who tempts her into the shadows.
Opal must choose how far she's willing to go, and what she's willing to lose, to save a world that never truly accepted her.
Shades of Power is the first in a new romantasy series written for dark romance lovers who enjoy sexy, complicated characters, epic world building, and a unique magic system. Fans who enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses, The Everking, and Fourth Wing will not be disappointed. So good. And this book, if you guys go check it out on Goodreads, Shades of Power, it has almost 1,000 reviews, which that's crazy.
Yeah, for an indie author, that's so good. Like, she did such a good job at marketing, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's
she
insane.
really did.
Everyone that worked to get these books out there, whatever she did to do it, it's phenomenal.
Even the second one that just got published, it's got so many reviews on there. I'm just like being Jenny and like thinking like onto this. She must feel so proud about it, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because it just must be such a good feeling for her.
Oh, yeah. And then just one of those many 5-star reviews, guys. Here it is. This person says, I really enjoyed the characters in this book. It's definitely not your typical fae fantasy read, and I love the world Jenny has created. There were so many twists that started early on and made this such a great read. Jenny's writing style is fantastic and made it easy to picture the characters and their emotions, as well as stay engaged in the story. So, that's just
so
one of
good.
a trillion.
There are so many 5-star reviews on Goodreads for this one. Well, let's talk about Shades of Fire now. So there might be some spoilers ahead, guys, because we're just going to be pulling the summary from Goodreads, basically. So there might be spoilers, but I warned you. So, months have passed since Opal returned to the Shade Court after defeating the Night Prince and experiencing the loss of her family. While so many things seem like they are falling into place for the High Shades, Opal now must navigate the dueling affections of her charming fairy lover, Ferris and Edmund, the handsome and relentless Moon King.
In addition to dealing with all the complications that are revealed about her magical bond, dragons have come out of isolation and attacked the Night Court for no known reason, leaving the fairy realm both puzzled and crippled with fear. Add some drama with the fairy-worshipping wizards in the south and some unusual nightmares plaguing her best friend, and the hard-won peace that Opal and her friends thought they'd achieved begins to quickly unravel, leading them to places they have never been before.
What begins as a journey to discover the truth in Opal's heart quickly transforms into a high stakes quest, which involves a magical rock hunt, dragons with bad attitudes, wizards who become family, and a spicy love triangle that wants to be so much more. Welcome back to the scene where magic abounds, dysfunction festers, and love grows.
Shades of Fire is the second book in the Soul Magic series and will delight all lovers of dark romantasy, complicated characters, colorful world building, and epic magic. This is the hangover cure to the Fourth Wing and Akatar series.
Yes, and so here's a 5-star review for Shades of Fire. This one was my favorite because it's written so well. But this person says, can't even. I need to cry myself to sleep before I could review this. No, I still can't. Jenny is the whiplash-giving queen with her emotional roller coaster writing. She's possessed my heart with it, and I've been lost in her brilliant mind. Delve into this world and let your heart break with me. Delve in and let your mind expand. Delve in and let your TBR wait.
Wow, that's a good one.
I know.
I want to write my reviews. So like
Right.
mine are so like that's it. Like that'll just be the review.
Goodness.
I love it.
Something that I remember when we talked to Jenny before in our last episode with her was that she had said when writing her book, she tries not to finish her book with like a cliffhanger because she says, I love reading books with those, but she's like, I cannot leave a cliffhanger at the end of her book. She's like, I want people feel good about it.
Yeah.
And so, but this person says too much whiplash. Oh no.
We went ahead and sent over some questions for Jenny to send back to us guys. So here they are.
How would you describe the heart of your book to someone who's never read it?
Of the Shade series is a lot about, not labeling others, but also not putting labels on yourself. And so all of these main characters, as they go throughout their different, their different calamities and their different high stakes, chaotic situations, and they're trying to find their powers and they're trying to find their family and their friends. They're just trying to find their place. um, I think that like staying true to yourself is like a major theme in all of these books. And especially in Shades of Fire, you've got someone like Lyanna who, I think we all label her. She's just very easy to kind of peg down, or so it seems, early on in the series. But I think that she kind of she surprised me. And I think that she kind of surprised herself in this book. And I think that just kind of being open to the, just the power of like who you're meant to be, yes, but also who you want to be is just a huge theme in this book and a huge theme that kind of spreads throughout the whole series. No one is quite who you think they are 100%. And I love books that do that.
What makes your book stand out from others in your genre?
That I think that there is a lot of fae romantasies out there, but I think that one of the things that sets the Shade series apart from a lot of other ones, besides the magic system that I feel like is like complex enough to be interesting, but actually quite accessible for the fantasy reader, is that there are so many different creatures and factions and lands and things in this book, that really do get their chance to shine. And they're not all, I mean, they're a little bit like jumbled up, but I tried to, because I love high fantasy books, but sometimes I feel like it's hard to really kind of find the pulse of like a region or a species or something like that. So I think that these books really do a good job of um, organizing all of that information in a really digestible way. And also, they are on the shorter side, these books. You get like a lot of, a lot for your money kind of thing. It's just like there's a lot, but there's not a lot to like dig through. And some people love that, and some people I think search for more. But these really are great books for people that are beginning a why choose journey, beginning a romantasy or a fantasy journey, but still want to like really get a feel for what the genre is like. And I love that. I love how many people have said, oh my gosh, like I love that I can sit down and read 300 pages and get like a full story. I love that, this is like a great way to dip your toe in the water for, a spicier book. So I think that they do a pretty good job with that.
Is there a particular scene or moment in your book that you're most proud of? What makes it special to you?
I could talk about this book all day long. I was quite nervous to write about dragons just because I had never really thought that much about it before. I just love reading about dragons. So I think that's the part that I am the most proud of is I feel like when you are reading about the group of shades that are walking into this dragon hive, and there's 100 dragons there, and they're all so different, and they're all so menacing and condescending, and they all have these attitudes. And I feel like there's almost like a dragon heart moment, between Plum and Opal. And I love Opal's voice in that whole scene where they're first meeting the dragons and just the thoughts going through her head. She's still not 100% there confidence wise, but you could just see it growing. Like you could just feel her starting to go, you know what? Enough of this. Like we're doing this. And I just thought that was such a cool moment. Um, and it really like, it was your first time really seeing the dragons, and it really, I think, was a good way of bringing them into the light and bringing them to the forefront. Um, but yeah, I loved that part.
Who is your most misunderstood character and what do you wish readers knew about them?
So this is an interesting question because I almost just answered your question about what was the hardest thing to write. And then I realized I couldn't really talk about that because it might give too much away of the story. But now I kind of feel like I want to talk about it because um, it definitely answers this question about who I feel is the most misunderstood, or someone that I want the readers to understand a little bit better. All I can say is Leanna had some very controversial moments in this book, and for so many, she was like a favorite character and still is. But there were some decisions that she made that some saw were out of character, thought were out of character. Um, and there's only so much of this story that is actually about her. It's mostly about Opal and her struggles and her relationships. But this was such a huge thing to happen with Leanna towards the end of the book. Um, I had many readers saying that they chucked it. They threw the book across the room, their Kindle across the room, very angry with Leanna. And all I can say is if you have the chance, definitely read the bonus content that's on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, because it does give an opportunity for Leanna's voice to be heard, for Adion's voice to be heard. And I think it does explain a little bit more about why she made the choices she did. And um, even without reading it, I think sometimes it's good when a character can surprise you, even if it's maybe not in the way that you want it to be. But I do think that, I think that Leanna's friends and herself, but definitely her friends, I think, underestimated just how much of an outcast she felt like this whole time. She's been growing up in the Shade Palace and being a fire fairy and sort of cultivating this sort of like nothing hurts me. I'm, this tough woman who dishes it out and can take it kind of thing. But she definitely had some vulnerability there. And so that is probably the character that I think about the most in this book, and just how it affected readers and things like that. So definitely check out that bonus content because I think it does a good job of maybe calming some of the emotions surrounding her.
Did you base any characters, settings, or events on real life, or did it all come from your imagination?
I love that when you pick up a fantasy book. I mean, obviously, research goes into almost every book written, but with fantasy, you can really kind of up a lot of things, make up words, just really use your imagination to paint whatever picture you're trying to portray. But I'm really proud of this book, how much research, like real world research, that actually went into it. And I love talking about it because a few people have been like, there are some very weirdly specific things in this book. And It's because it's real. Like the ash stone is actually a real meteor that that you can actually visit. I believe it's actually in Maine at a geological museum. It is called Check. The description of what it looks like is accurate. The stones that I mentioned are all real. The restaurants and some of the locations in New York City are all real. So it's kind of cool to think that, we've got this Fey world that has just its own history and its own, long list of places and cool traditions and things like that. But then we also have the human realm, and the line is quite blurred in between the two in the book. And when you think about it, a lot of that information is kind of blurred with all the real life references too that are made. So I hope that's entertaining for the reader as much as it is for me to find ways to weave it in.
When can readers expect your next book? What can you tell us about it?
Shades of Beasts is the third installment of the Soul Magic series. There's going to be 4 books. The last one is going to come out hopefully sometime next year, called Shades of War. But Shades of Beasts is going to be coming out September 23rd. It's already done. It's already in the ARC process right now. People are reading it. People are feeling all the feels. What happens in book 2 sets up book 3. They are all, it's all in sequence. And it is about Jovi's Isle, and we see more of Glory. We see talking beasts. We see Opal absolutely unhinged for a majority of the book. So it is a wild, wild ride, with lots of magic, lots of mystery. This book had a lot of things that kind of you don't really know what's going on till the end. That was really fun to write and kind of different. But it's also a beautiful tale of healing. And a lot of people are speaking to the like mental health aspect of it too, because there's just been a lot of grief and a lot of loss and a lot of, anxiety. And watching Opal go through that and the support that she gets for that is definitely something that is kind of beautiful in that book. So Shades of Beasts, September 23rd. Cannot wait. Some really fun, spicy bits too. It's lots of action. It's got it all.
So, guys, if you are interested in buying Jenny's books, you can get them at Amazon, and you can also purchase them on Audible. And a really cool thing about her audiobook is that the narrator is Laura Horowitz, which I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She is so popular. I follow this narrator on TikTok, and she posts like how it is to be an audiobook narrator while she's recording and while she's editing. So it's so cool. She narrated the Phantasma book, which that was a really good one to listen to. And that one, as an audiobook, also won some type of award. I can't remember what, though.
Yeah, I loved Phantasma, though. I listened to it, so now learning that this is the same gal who recorded this, I'm fangirling a little bit. But, and where to find Jenny, guys. This is a big one. We've already talked about her Instagram, how big she is on it. Go follow her on Instagram. It's author.jennygrimes. And her website is authorjennygrimes.com. And we'll also link below.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our discussion of the Soul Magic series by Jenny Grimes.
A huge thank you to Jenny for sharing this story with us. It's been such a joy getting to re-step into the world that you created.
We also want to thank her for sending in those voice notes. It added such a special layer for today's episode.
If you haven't picked up Shades of Power yet, now is the perfect time.
Thanks for listening to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We'll be back Thursday with another episode.
Bye!
Bye!